And of course, we are starting with an issue that just doesn't want to go away. And this afternoon, some renal patients have been forced into skipping meals and limiting water intake just to sustain their treatment. Now, dialysis fees have increased from 380 cedis to 491 cedis per session. This additional funding burden is already draining patients' tight budgets, compelling them to make heartbreaking choices between basic necessities and life-saving medical care. The increment is part of the fees and charges approved by Parliament. A similar increase last year raised significant concerns about the plight of those who depend on dialysis at least twice a week to survive, prompting a Dialysis Crisis series by Joy News. Now, this afternoon, we'll discuss this development with affected individuals. But first, let me bring one of our dialysis series as we build up to this conversation.
Humming sound of medical equipment here at the renal unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, welcoming patients. It's a Tuesday morning and 15-year-old Priscilla Santi is being wheeled into the renal unit here.
The doctors told me I have to be on a machine, and I have to be on that machine either twice or thrice a week.
For now, she has to travel nearly 100 kilometers from Chifu Mampong with her mother to the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital every Tuesday and Thursday to have her dialysis session.
My mom and dad do not have money either. We have become miserable. I am appealing to the government to help me live through this. Otherwise, I may die.
Priscilla, a junior high school pupil, now carries a weight much heavier than her school bag. Her daily battle now is not with textbooks and homework, but with the relentless adversary, renal failure.
I want the government to support me so I can live to fulfill my dream of becoming a nurse.
The burden of her illness has not only taken a toll on her fragile body, but has shattered her world due to the family's precarious financial situation.
They said that could be 3.5.
They say every section is 350 cedis. And this in addition to getting blood and other medication.
Priscilla's mother, Rutufori, has been a pillar of strength for her daughter and is determined to ensure her only daughter lives. With teary eyes, she shares the story of her family's headache, struggling to cope with the emotional and financial strain that comes with caring for her only daughter battling renal failure.
From the doctors, if I keep on missing this section, I may lose my daughter. And I need the help of the government.
Her voice quivers as she recounts the sleepless nights and endless hospital visits, each one a reminder of their uphill climb. But Priscilla is not alone in this fight. Thomas Vincent Khan has lived with kidney diseases for a decade.
The people who came and could not survive just a week or even a month. So for me to survive it all these 10 years, it's really been a tough one.
For Thomas, the thought of heading to the dialysis machine is not just physically draining, it's also a haunting financial specter. The towering cost of dialysis looms over him like a relentless shadow, casting doubt and despair. Thomas speaks of the silent tragedy he has witnessed over the years, a grim parade of 100 busloads of people who have lost their lives to kidney failure because they lack the financial means to access dialysis treatment.
Most of the time, it's not easy always chasing people or asking people for help because it is very difficult to sustain. For instance, if somebody gives you 1,000 to help you, you can't go to the person every day or every now and then to ask for the same help. And this is a disease that you always have to be coming to the hospital. Without that funding, you can't come for dialysis. And here is a case that it is a pay as you go. So it means that if you don't have money, you can't come for dialysis. And like I mentioned, there are people who have died because they cannot have the money to come for dialysis. And to tell you the truth, there are lots of the people we have lost, not because of the disease, but just the thought of finding money to come to the hospital. That alone has killed them. If there was any support for them, if they had the money, I'm sure they would have been here by now, and then perhaps be coming to dialysis just to sustain or manage the situation. But unfortunately, because there is no money to support them, we have lost all of them.
Each one, a story of unfulfilled dreams and shattered hopes, adds to the weight of despair that Thomas carries.
We wish that we'll have a strong funding to support our clients, those who are the vulnerable ones. Some are unable to pay even for a session of dialysis.
Kwesi Brown has worked in the renal unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital for 20 years. Over the period, he's seen many families come to him, instructing him to take their relatives from the machine to go home and die, a situation that breaks his heart.
You won't believe it. There are some who even come in, and they come in, tell you that now we don't have money to come anymore, and so please take off the catheter for us to go home. Because they can't, they just don't know how to get the nurse, so the idea is to go home and die. The idea is to go home and die, you understand? It's sad, but if we have a fund in place, then from that fund we can support. Sometimes people, transportation from their places to this place itself is also a challenge, in itself. Once the transport fares are going up, it becomes problematic for them.
It's a story of Priscilla, Thomas, and countless others here who bear the heavy burden of kidney diseases. It's a stark reminder that the battle against renal failure is not only fought in hospitals and clinics, but in the hearts and homes of individuals and families who continue to grapple with its physical, emotional, and financial toll. Richard Kwejo for Joy News.
Right, so this is a matter you will feel it more if you are suffering it or you have a relative who is going through this, health challenge. Now, I lost a friend in January, and he was buried in February. He had, kidney breakdown, and after going through dialysis for almost a year, he died. And that is a sad reality. So, joining us in the studio now is the president of the Renal Patients Association, Bafo Ahinkrab. And of course, on Zoom is Christiana Afo, a renal patient who depends on dialysis to survive. But it is not all that gloom, because we have some good news also coming from the National Health Insurance Authority, and we'll get to that very soon. So, Mr. Ahinkrab, you're welcome to, and this is the fourth time we have had to discuss this particular matter because of the implications that come with it. Yeah. So let me start with Madam Christie. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse. Right. So, Madam Christiana, if you can hear me, I just want to find out how difficult is it to survive on dialysis, and how will this latest increment affect you?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for welcoming me to your show. Those increments and everything is giving me headache. Just to wake up one day for Kolebu renal dialysis to say they've increased the price, it's a whole lot of burden for me now. As it stands now, I should have dialyzed on Monday, but because of the increments and then financial everything, I didn't go on Monday. So I would have to wait for my date.
So when were you told of the increment?
I heard it around Sunday evening to Monday morning. Yeah, that was when I heard it.
And officially, have you been told by Kolebu that they will no longer be taking the old fees?
They will no longer do it.
Be taking the old fees. Have you been told?
Yes. I went there on Monday. That's yesterday. And those I went to meet confirmed they paid the new price. That is 491.
So Monday when you went there, you were going to undergo dialysis?
I was supposed to dialyze on Monday, but I couldn't do it.
Because of the new increment?
Yes, because of the new increment, the new price they are charging now.
And how difficult was it even sustaining yourself with the old increment?
It's not easy. All I was saying, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a very difficult task now.
And for how long have you been on dialysis?
For the past 8 years, 7 to 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, yes.
And every week you undergo twice?
Yes, twice. That is if I get the money. But if I don't get the money, I would have to wait for just one session. Do one session in a week.
And during the period that you are unable to come up with the finances to fund the dialysis treatment, how do you cope with the fact that you have an ailment you need to deal with or you need to attend to?
Okay, first and foremost, I always pray that God should sustain me. So my next session. And other things that I do is I don't eat much. I don't drink much. As normal, like maybe in a day, 2 square meal or 3 square meal. No, I reduce my habit of eating and drinking.
And this is not because you are not hungry or thirsty. It is just because you don't want to consume so much that you may have to pass out a lot of waste,
exactly.
Which may affect your kidney.
Exactly. Just for the toxics not to be matched before my session day.
And how do you live through hunger and thirst just to sustain your life?
The thing is, if maybe I'm supposed to eat maybe a half bowl of rice, I would have to take quarter.
And then you can go the entire day without taking water?
I can't, but I would have to minimize my fluid intake so it can sustain me till my next session.
Remember last year when this matter became so pronounced and the public reaction, government intervention that we are yet to actually see, and now it is that Parliament had to consider the fees and charges. It went through the 21-day maturation and it's now a law. And now, even with the old fees, you just told me that you were unable to keep going, especially the twice a week dialysis treatment. Now there's an increment, and government says that the increment is necessary to sustain the centers. How are you going to cope with the new increments? Is there any intervention coming anywhere?
So far, there's no intervention from anywhere. There's no intervention. I'm just praying and hoping something good will come from somewhere, especially from the church, the philanthropists, and other people who are capable of helping us.
But are you benefiting any support from any, spirited organization? Because we understand that Kolebu, for example, the Fair Sky Group, they've been very supportive. I don't know whether you're also benefiting from this benevolence.
Yes, I benefited from it when I started dialysis.
And is it still something that you are still benefiting?
Okay, for that one, I don't know, but for all I know is when I go to Kolebu, I pay. So I don't know if Fair Sky still pays or that one, I have no idea. If he still pays part of it for us, then it means I'm also a beneficiary.
Right. Thank you very much, Madam Christiana Afo. Thank you very much for sharing your story with us. Well, the National Health Insurance Authority, they have undertaken some steps, and we'll get to hear from the Chief Executive very soon, with the hope that it will lessen the pain and the struggle you go through every day, just to have the finances to support the dialysis treatment. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. And let me come to the studio with Mr. Ahinkrab. Mr. Ahinkrab, I guess the same communication got to you.
Yeah.
And how did you receive it?
Fortunately, for me, about a month ago, let's say roughly about 2 months ago, I had a wind of it.
Okay.
That Parliament has approved a new price of 491. So I communicated to my people that this is what is coming, so let's get ready for it. Around April, I went back to do a cross-check, and I was being told, Kolebu have to put it into their system.
Right.
Because Kolebu, they don't do cash. You have to go to the bank, pay, they will take the receipt to the center before you dial. So they were just trying to change the 382 to 491 into their system. So we went through April, May. First week, we didn't hear anything. Just last week, Friday, some of them went for their session. They paid the 380. Around between 3 and 4, one person was going, boom. It's now 491.
491.
So it started from Friday evening between 3 and 4. And then it went on as at now that we are talking this 491.
And then to be fair, the proposal from Kolebu that went to the Health Ministry and then to Parliament was actually higher than the 491.
So we hear.
Exactly. So perhaps some consultation went on, and then they came to the acceptable figure of 491. Even that, you say is too high and beyond the reach of a lot of your members.
Very. If we say consultation, I don't know what people they did with, because we are directly involved. So if there's supposed to be any consultation, they should have got us involved. None of my people got into the consultation. As where it was done, we don't even know. But we know the proposal that they took was more than the 4191 they took, which they later on agreed on this particular amount that they are talking about. But like Christy is saying, Christy is one of my girls at Kolebu. For the 380, she was not able to come. She was doing 1 session a week. Now, doctors have prescribed that you are supposed to do 3 sessions a week for you to be stronger and healthier. Because of money issue, you are doing only 2. And now because of money issue again, you are doing only 1. Christy normally sometimes, I normally go session with her. So where is Christy? She did, I'll call her. Hey, why didn't you come?
No money.
So even 380, we are struggling. How much more than 491? I'm saying if we don't take care, the mortality rate will shoot up big time.
Because even, I mean, the psychological effect this will have on you.
People come and leave their husbands, their boyfriends there because they have kidney. He comes, you know you are going to die. Because the thing is not sustainable. So he comes with you 1, 2, 3. Oh, you will die very soon. He will leave. The people come and leave their relatives there, their boyfriend, their husband, and leave them. And they go away. They don't come back again. That one alone can easily kill you.
Right. So how many are your members?
We are normally roughly, if I'm not lying, about 400.
About 400.
Yeah.
So if you want to aggregate, how many are able to fund the treatment on their own without any support coming from anywhere?
I would say it's just about 1%.
Just about 1%. And the rest, how do they survive?
Friends, and maybe he has small investment somewhere. You depend on it. If you get finished, then you are on your own. I will use myself as an example. Sometimes when I even call friends, they don't pick. Because I've relied on them for a very long time. So even when they see your call, sometimes you want to...
For how long have you been on dialysis treatment?
I'm getting to 10 years.
10 years. Okay.
Yes. Sometimes I will even want to call, Padis just to hear you. He will not pick your call. And I'm not begrudging them. I understand them. The system is so hot to extend that maybe he has got only just 1,000. He can't give it to you. He has got family and friends. He cannot give it to you. So the point is, the thing is so serious to extend that government have to take a bold decision. I heard you say national health insurance. Yes, it is true.
And very soon we will hear from the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority. This afternoon, he spoke to my colleague as an ongoing program on steps that the scheme has taken to deal with these kidney issues. And very soon, we'll have that inset play for you to hear the Chief Executive, and then I'll pick reactions from Mr. Ahenkra. So I remember you were part of the national dialogue that we had.
Yes.
And you had so many promises. I don't know which one has been, fulfilled.
None. What we saw, some benevolent came in, did some presentations. I remember Zoom Lion came in, did some presentation. Reverend Bodin Ameche, Baker's House Chapel also came, did some donation, and then a couple of, but we've not, all that we heard that they made the donations, but as to where the money is, whether they to be given to us or not to be given to us, we don't know. So
meaning the donation that came through, you are not benefiting from it in any way?
We've not. When we go like...
It hasn't affected how much you pay?
Yes. When we go, we pay 380. When the place was closed down last year, around this time, it was May 21st that it was closed. Around
Right.
this time, last year, time, and we went back, I think around October. We've been paying. Every session you go, you pay 380.
But what understanding did you get that the donation was for the patients or for the hospital?
Most of the time we hear, Joy, you should have a clips of those things, a Zoom lion. I learned it's for the patients. That is what I heard. I was not the one that presented, but I heard it on Joy. That is for the patient. Bwedi Nyameche, I think it was around this time when the crisis was up.
And Bwedi Nyameche is the head pastor of Makers
Chapel. Yeah. When the place was closed down, he also brought it to help patients. We never saw daylight of it. There was no any day. So what Bwedi Nyameche came to pay, maybe we are trying to subsidize it when you can maybe pay 100 or pay 200. We never had anything of that sort, as we sit.
And have you probed to understand what is going on?
Oh, nothing really is coming out. When you ask, nothing really is coming out.
So with this 491.
Yes, 500.
Let's say 500 Ghana, 500 Ghana cedis. Until there's an intervention that we are likely we are yet to hear, it means you have to find ways to top up the 380.
Yesterday, Monday, about 6 people came there and went home. As at now, I called this morning to check up on them, how they are doing. Like I said, when you miss a session, you are getting closer to your grave. So I called this morning to check up on them. They're like she's saying, you won't eat. You will not eat the food that you want to eat. You will not take the drink that you want to drink. Because if you take in more, you bring a lot of fluid, your weight will go up. And once the weight is up, it can take about 3 or 4 sessions to clear all those weight out. So sometimes we all try to manage ourselves. You don't go to take more, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 weight. And if they push you to take more of the weight, sometimes it worries your heart. So when it happens like that, you cannot even eat. Like you said, if it's a bowl of rice, you have to eat quarter. Mm-hmm. You will not be satisfied, but you just have to get something there to sustain you until maybe you get money and go back and do your session. So, like I'm saying, it's
but not eating and not drinking enough water may also have health, concerns for you.
But you don't have choice, because the point is you are not sure when you are going for your session, and the more you eat, because the kidney is not functioning well, it's not able to extract the toxins and the waste. Mm-hmm. So all together is in you. Let me do a simple example. Maybe when we're kids, when you urinate into a bowl or something, you put it there.
Right.
When you don't throw it away, look at the way
of
how
course.
It smells. And that thing is in you. You don't go and take it out. That is why sometimes you see some of the patients, you see their stomach like this, like she's pregnant. She's not pregnant. You see their legs very big. Their faces, you see them puffy faces. It's not their fault. We don't have money to clear the system. Kolebu now is cash and carry. You pay before you go to the center. So if you don't have it, they won't dialyze you. So I don't even know what is happening. We had all the assurance that Dr. Kuboy, I quite remember quoting him that he said this thing is visible. They can do it. They can put it on the National Health Insurance for us. So all along, this is what we were expecting. That we wake up now, even if not all, like 491, when you go and pay 100 cedis, government will take to the 391. At least you are good. And normally I keep saying it's not only just the dialysis. You have injection that you take, you have medication that you take, because before you get to end-stage kidney, before they put you on dialysis machine, either you are hypertensive or diabetic, and you have to take those medications.
Right. So we are talking to Mr. Ahenkra, who is the president of the Kidney Patients Association. The most important aspect in all of this discussion is the way forward. And what do you propose should be the way forward?
There is something on National Health Insurance table. There's an artwork.
And I'm hoping that the video will be ready so that we can listen to them.
Which I'm part of it.
All right. So hold it for now. Let's listen to the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Dacosta Abuaji, who says the scheme will soon introduce a major decision on the treatment of kidney patients. According to him, the scheme has arrived at a decision and currently awaiting the board of the NHI approval, which likely will see the scheme absorb part of kidney treatment.
I think we've made progress on dialysis. Just last week, a committee that has been set up to chair and implement the disbursement of the funds that were approved by Parliament has actually concluded their report, including the dialysis patients themselves. So we work with them. They have concluded, and I can confidently say that within the next few weeks, we will be starting the disbursement to the various facilities. I can give you the details, which is obviously the fact that this one was for the needy, what was approved by Parliament for the needy. I know Parliament has also increased the cost of dialysis for the healthcare providers, which is they've taken it to 491. But if you look at Kolebu, we have a philanthropist supporting majority of them with about 380 Ghana cedis. So the difference is about 111. So the other hospitals do not have that support. So we're looking at supplementing for both patients from Kolebu, Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and Central Region. In such a way that for Kolebu, because they do get that support, we will be able to bridge a gap for them. Then we support our patients also from Cape Coast and Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. But the fact is, they do 8 cycles per month. We cannot do all the 8, so we are looking at an average or maybe below average. We're yet to, obviously, like I said, the report is ready, so it's just to be taken to the board for final consideration, then the implementation starts.
Right, so we're waiting for the board of the National Health Insurance Authority to act on this as early as possible so that lives can be safe. And that's the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority giving this assurance. Dr. Dacosta Abuaje, how do you receive this?
It's a good news. I'm part of the board, so at least I know what is going on. But like I was saying, Kolebu should have waited for us to finish this thing
before announcing the increment.
The price, because Kolebu CEO is also part of the board. So he also have a briefing of this thing. So they should have waited. But it's a step in the right direction. But
so what decision has the board taken?
I'm not part of the board. I'm part of the ad board committee.
Okay, the ad board committee. So you made some proposals?
Yes, we sat down. Not myself, we sat down, we discussed, we saw the money given to National Health Insurance, and we saw this as well. But the only challenge I have is that they keep saying there's somebody, Kolebu, philanthropist, something, doing something. Since we went back October, we've been paying. So I think Kolebu need to come clear on this one. If the money still have been paying from that October that we went, they should refund our money back to us.
The philanthropist?
For the philanthropist, he's paying for us. But since from October
up to now,
you've
been paying from your own pocket.
We've been paying. We've been paying the 380.
Full cost recovery, cash and carry,
yes,
if you like.
Yes, we pay the 380. So if the philanthropist is still doing it, which I know is first car, he has done it for about 7 to 8 years when we went there. So if he's still doing it, as at last October that we went there, he's still been paying. Then why were you also paying from last October up to now? Probably like by now we'll not be crying about this for one. I will have something in our pocket to be doing this for one because we've been paying.
And then it takes me back to my earlier question about whether you've asked questions and you are not getting a response, or you've not asked the question at all.
When Kolebu reopened and we were going, before the closure, we were not paying. But when Kolebu reopened, we were going. We were made to understand we are coming back to pay. We asked few questions about the First Sky group, and they learned that they are having 1 or 2 negotiations with him. I think there was 1 or 2 things, which I don't have full briefing about it. So we were waiting. So until that thing is done, we are supposed to do the payment till First Sky come back. So like I sit here, per what Dr. Dacosta is saying, if it's true, then they are going to, that means they are presuming that the man is paying 380 for us, and they are going to pay 111 to top it up to make it the
491.
991. So the question maybe I'm asking now is that if that be the so, is it now that the man is coming back to pay, or all along the man has been paying? This is a question maybe we need to ask.
And I'm sure that clarity will be brought on this matter going forward.
Yes, that's
on this matter. But from the point of the ad hoc committee, when do you expect formal announcement to be made on this matter?
Oh, like I said, I mean, everything is set. We prepared. They've now sent it to the board for approval. Once it is done, we are just a committee. We've done our job. It's up to the rest to the National Health Insurance to come out with the formal announcement.
So what kind of mood are your members as they wait for some intervention?
Because I've not been authorized to speak about this, I've not told them anything apart from 1 or 2 people that I've, like executive, I've spoken to them, but officially I've not told them anything because I've not been authorized to. As Dr. Dacosta has said it now publicly, maybe there'll be some hope, but maybe I have to raise it because it's like, it's going to be, when you take it, it's 4 weeks in a month. And each 4 weeks, if you are doing even 2 sessions, it's going to be 8, more than 8. 2 times 4.
Yeah, 8.
That will be 8 sessions. You do 8 sessions a month.
Right.
And they just want to take 2.
That's NHIS wants to take 2. 2 weeks.
No, they want to take 2 sessions out of this.
Out of the 8 sections.
It's a subsidy. We will take it for now.
Out of the 8 sections.
Yes.
8.
Yes.
So you have to pay for the 6.
Yes.
And you accept this.
Oh, it's better than none. I mean, at least we are making a headway. We are making a headway. At least we are making a headway out of it. I mean, if you get 2 out of this, at least you can also. I mean,
that is something that you can also help to save your money for future expenses.
But the point is, I'm just putting it straight there. Still, it's not sustainable. And if NHIS can do full recovery of this, the better it is. Because I see it to be, let's increase the premium of the national insurance that we pay. I think it's 26.
They have made a proposal.
Yes.
There's also the issue about government capping.
Yes.
That must be addressed.
Yes. When I think all those things are done, it will be very easy for the national health insurance to take full recovery of the national health insurance.
All right. Mr. Anka, before I let you go, your final words to your members, and of course for those who are watching you. I mean, because you are an association, I'm sure that time and time you get health briefing. You get medical professionals come and then educate you sometimes on the do's and don'ts. For somebody watching, in terms of the person watching his own health, what will you tell them?
They should do regular checkups because kidney is a silent killer. You wouldn't know. By the time you see Jack, you are there. Because normally it comes with hypertensive and diabetic, if you know about this. But most of the young guys out there, we don't do checkups. You are there. Maybe you might think you've got some headache. You think this is a headache. Is this normal headache? Sometimes you are getting hypertensive, you don't even know. So the more advice or the serious advice I would give that they should do regular checkup quarterly. Just go do a checkup. Because when it is seen...
So that'll be 4 times in a year?
In a year, at least. If you take about 500, you go, you do thorough checkup, labs, this. At least, if they detect it earlier, something can be done. You won't get to the end stage, like some of us we are now. So regular checkup, and then check your eating habits, late eating, a lot of excessive alcohol.
No exercise.
Yes. You see, you go to the pediatric there, you see them climbing.
Every Saturday morning.
Immediately they finish, you go and drink. Cost than 0. So I'm not saying don't drink. I mean, once in a while you can take something small, it's good. But excessive drinking,
it's not the best.
Because before you realize, I keep saying, before I could say Jack, I was at end stage 4.
No coming back.
No coming back. As I said, I only have to do either transplant or maybe the man up there give me some miracle healing. If not, for the rest of my life, I have to be on dialysis and take care of myself. So the man calls me up. So guys out there, regular checkup, take good care of yourself, check your eating, don't eat just anything. Make sure you are eating the right food, and then a lot of exercise. If you feel like there's headache, go to the hospital and check. Don't go and then self-medication.
Right.
Self-medication, they shouldn't do it. They should just follow some of these steps and then they'll be fine.
Mr. Anka, thank you very much for coming through this afternoon, and we are all praying that the Health Insurance Board will quicken the process so that the announcement can be made, and then the relief that we are all waiting from government side can now be felt. Thank you very much for coming through. And that's the president of the Ghana Kidney Patients Association, updating us on, the state of his members, because as you may be aware, the cost of dialysis treatment has jumped from 380 to 491. But there is some good news, because the National Health Insurance Authority says that they are almost at the end of announcing some package for those on dialysis treatments. And what we are picking up is that out of the 8 sessions per month that every patient is expected to go through, the health insurance cover may take care of 2 out of the 8, meaning the kidney patient will now have to bear the rest of the week. That's the 6 weeks. And that's 480 Ghana cedis per session. This, even though may be some kind of a subsidy, but it is still beyond the reach of a lot of them who find themselves in this situation. That is a very important issue that we will discuss on Big More. Next week, we are told that Komfanoche Teaching Hospital will also start implementation of the new fees approved by Parliament, meaning if you are also undertaking dialysis treatment at Komfanoche Teaching Hospital, from next week, you will see an upward adjustment of the money you've been paying. You will no longer be paying the old one. It will jump. If not the 491, it may be lesser or bigger. Whatever it is, we'll have it here for you here on Join Us. This is The Pulse with me, Elton Broby. Now, away